Hello and welcome to a pro basketball show with me, Andrew Willett. We're in the midst of WNBA coverage and excited to bring our content to you. You can catch a pro basketball show on streaming services such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with live broadcasts on playback. Make sure to follow us at APBShow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, with more coming soon. Without further ado, a pro basketball show. Hello and welcome to a pro basketball show. We are getting set and ready for the WNBA season just a week away, and today we are going to be talking about the team from Atlanta. It's the Dream, and it's the first preview pod of our preseason coverage, and for that I am incredibly excited to be joined by the host of the Atlanta Dreamin Podcast, Joshua Welch at ENFP Hoops, and Ambee writes. Amber, you two, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely.
No
Pleasure
problem.
being on.
So since the Las Vegas Aces crown champions last fall, what have you two been up to? How have you gotten ready for this season?
Whew. We've been getting a lot of content out and been cranking it up for Atlanta. We're super excited about the season coming up. I'm incredibly excited personally because I love basketball, so we're on it.
True. And it's just like the overall vibe is different. Like, we're headed in a good direction, which I'm sure you're going to ask us questions on. But yeah, we are very bullish on how the season could turn out.
And on to this season, they made some moves this offseason. We'll get into each of them in detail. But excuse me for this one. For Atlanta, what's the dream right now?
Oh, please. I love puns. Keep them coming.
Yes.
But you can start, Amber.
Man, I was just going to say, man, hey, we could sneak. We could sneak into that top two. I'm just saying, the dream
Top
would,
two now.
Listen. I said top three, but I mean, he said the dream, right? The dream for the dream is to win the championship, of course. But they could at the very least sneak up in the top two spots. I'm just saying.
Mine would be, I want home court advantage in Atlanta. Like, that's my big thing. I want the fan base to be able to get into it. We want to force, some things to make us go into a bigger arena coming up very soon, because I think we have the smallest arena in the league. We got it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there's too much excitement going on. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I did not know that. That's really interesting. And yeah, a playoff basketball game in Atlanta. I'm sure that would be a great place to go from here. As we start to get into, I guess, the offseason, I want to start first and just recap where they were a year ago, where they don't make the postseason. They finished up at 10th. They were tied with Minnesota for that 9 spot, and just a game back of the Mercury, who squeaked into the playoffs. But last year, from my standpoint, I saw a ton of improvement, positive signs everywhere. Rookie of the year in Ryan Howard, rookie head coach in Tanisha Wright, defensive minded, did a fantastic job over there. Cheyenne Parker, another player who really impressed me. That was from my standpoint. From each of you, what were your takeaways from that season?
Yeah, I would say the biggest change was like just the culture from the beginning, like just the culture that Tanisha Wright instilled. Like, there was more confidence, there was more like communication and joy in playing the game. Like, it's just a big deal. Alicia Gray and Cheyenne Parker signing extensions in March to stay on longer. Like, they believe in what's going on with Atlanta, and yeah, I'm really excited for how we're going to continue off the momentum last season and how we won it. But yeah, that just definitely made leaps and bounds. I'm sure you agree, Amber.
Yeah, we really took a huge leap, and that's what I wanted to see, is just improvement, a steady improvement, and then on top of the steady improvement that we had from last year, bringing in Ryan, that goes without saying. That was a huge game changer for us. And like, coming into this season, I'm just waiting for to see how all of the pieces come together, because you got Alicia, you have Danielle Robinson, those acquisitions could push us into a much better spot than we were even last year. So just steady improvement with our younger players and
Definitely
seeing great things from our vets. So I'm excited.
And I think we saw kind of a similar trend into the offseason. And I want to start here with free agency and trades along those lines. But Daniel Robinson for Christy Wallace, Alicia Gray, I was a big fan of that trade for the number 3 pick this year and a 2025 first. But you did her in, and you did her on a contract extension, as well as retaining A.D. Durr, Nia Coffey, Monique Billings, Aaron McDonald. Very excited about that, and extending Cheyenne Parker. So from your standpoint, what did you like about this offseason? Did you think it was enough?
That's a good question, because I feel like for what was out there on the market, I feel like we did pretty well. Are there some different moves that I would have made personally? Probably. But for what we got and what we plan on trying to do, I feel like they were the perfect acquisition, especially from the trade standpoint, because getting Alicia Gray, it don't get no better than that. Like, having her as your 2 guard and then pairing her up with Ryan Howard, yo, that's going to be probably the best tandem on the perimeter in the league. And that's just me being,
I'm here for that take. I like it.
And expanding on what you were saying, Amber, like in that Alicia Gray trade, like not only did we get Alicia Gray and she signed an extension to be with us longer, but we ended up drafting the player that we would have gone with the 3rd pick. I am 100% sure we would have drafted Haley Jones if we were kept that 3rd position. So
absolutely,
like she said, she landed where she wanted and everything, but I don't buy it. I think Haley's being nice. I think she's going to be out to prove people wrong. And like, I think she was a hands down lottery pick, and I'm excited for her to show off in Atlanta. I think she's going to have a really good season and career with us. So that was a big acquisition. And then Daniel Robinson, like just the assist number she put up with the Fever, like they, putting it mildly, they've been a struggling franchise. And now she gets to dish off to people like Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, Cheyenne Parker. Like, yeah, I can't wait to see what she does in splitting minutes with Ari as well. So before the draft, like I was like you, Amber, like in between, maybe we could have done things differently, but just after the draft, Haley Jones, Letitia Mehier, Leah Brown was a sneaky 2nd round pick. Yeah, I want to ride with this. I personally wouldn't want to make any more moves. Like I want to see what Dan Padover's put together. So yeah,
absolutely.
Big fan of Tanisha Wright, Dan Padover, and what they've done so far. Real quickly to recap on just some of the veteran moves, where a lot of players who played in Atlanta Dream jerseys last season no longer on the roster. You bring in quite a few players, the 3 rookies you mentioned, and we'll get to here in a moment. But you also lose Tiffany Hayes for that draft pick that ends up bringing in Haley Jones. And you guys, I was a huge fan of the Atlanta Dreams draft. I mean, I have been a Haley Jones believer. The amount of praise that she's received, the expectations heaped upon her, and some of the performances that she's had, her college resume really stand out. But at the same time, she did fall a bit in this draft. I understand you guys are also big fans of her pick. Why do you think she fell, and how do you feel about a potential fit?
Man, like the fit is going to be great because she's one of those types of players who just, you can put her anywhere. She's so versatile. Like, she can handle the ball, she can finish. There are questions about her jump shot, but honestly, from the tape that I've seen, I mean, I'm just saying it looked kind of right to me. That's just me. I could be grasping that shot. I feel like she has a nice jump shot.
I don't think you are. It's
mean,
it's how they used her. Yeah, like
exactly.
She was there to be like a playmaker, rebounder, and like defender. They weren't focusing in on her jump shot the way that like Nas made improvements last season. Like I feel like Haley has it already more in her bag, and she's being able to just fully focus on basketball. I don't think there's going to be. This is probably a hot take, but I do not think there's going to be like a waiting period for her shot to sink in. Like, I think they've really been focusing on it in preseason from like the film I've seen. Like, I don't know. I think she could be knocking down long range jumpers sooner than people realize. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, how would each of you grade the draft class that you brought in? You mentioned all three players. Do you like their chances getting onto this roster?
Yeah, you can go first, Amber.
I was about to say absolutely, and I give them an A+. I don't care what everybody else says. I feel like with the players that they got, like in the spot that they got them in, is really ridiculous. Especially being able to get Haley at 6, that is ridiculous, and everybody's going to regret letting Atlanta get that pick. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like A+, easy.
I agree. And then I don't know, like the other two players I had in the first round too. I saw me here getting some lottery love, just like the like athletic ceiling, and then also like we talked about this before too, Amber. Like she's been a backup for a long time. Like she knows how to make an impact in limited minutes. So I think she's going to be one of the rookies that's more comfortable in her role than other ones that don't get to start right away. So I'm really excited what she does. And then Leah Brown, I had as a late first rounder. Like I don't think if she had the injuries last season that she would have been overlooked this season as much as being able to drop to 15 like another Michigan player was last season, and that worked out pretty well for us. So
absolutely.
That it did, and that's really rare to see. I'm excited for Atlanta based off of last year's draft, obviously, but also this year's, and also the moves around it. For me, as I start to look at kind of the roster makeup that you guys have over in Atlanta, it feels like a strong defensive unit. I know Daniel Robinson replacing Erica Wheeler. I'm a Erica Wheeler fan for sure, but Daniel Robinson really good at the defense. We know that. Alicia Gray to pair with Ryan Howard. I know Amber's been a big fan of that as well. And then Haley Jones. It's just a lot of strong length and good defenders built around. Do you think that's the way to go? Do you think we're going to see a really strong defensive unit this year?
Absolutely. I can see it. I feel like that's the wheelhouse that, Tanisha Wright, she preaches defense. So this is the perfect roster for her because everybody's long, athletic. They can get up and down the court. And I feel like that's the type of, pace that we're going to go at. So I feel like she got the perfect players across the board.
I agree. I know you're going to be asking other questions. I'm not going too much in Ryan and Alicia, but yeah, the versatility's there. Like, I feel like it's going to mesh, and anybody who doesn't think we're going to make the playoffs, man, I'm taking screenshots.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. We will be getting to that for sure. I am curious. I did ask about the defense, the offense. At times last year, it felt like it did a little bogged down, especially in the half court. A lot of it ran through Cheyenne Parker, who did a fantastic job. I expect to see a little bit more run through Ryan Howard, Haley Jones, even in spot minutes, as we've mentioned her. But how do you expect this team to find their offense come with just a few weeks?
Oof. They have so many options, but I feel like it should run through Ryan. Everything should run through Ryan. And whenever, she needs to take a break, Alicia needs to be on the floor. Like, I'll say run it through those two and see what happens. All good things can come when you got those two, trading off buckets. I feel like if we can get those two going, double down to Cheyenne, give her some love, because I feel like between the three of them, it should help a lot. It should help tremendously to have those three types of players who can shoot the ball, who can post up, who can do all of that. So I feel like, I feel like that would be good. It's going to be a more free-flowing offense. I feel like.
Yeah. No, and like just all the things Ryan accomplished with like limited time with Tiffany Hayes and Maya Caldwell going on like an absolute hot streak at times. Like for her to have consistency this season of like someone alongside her in the backcourt, Like I can't even put in the words like the potential there is like for the Dream offense compared to last season. So I think it's gonna be completely different. Like Amber was saying, it should go through those three players, and all those players are all-star caliber. So yeah.
So I've been asking, and I plan to ask for all of these team previews, but what do you expect to see? Maybe not the starting lineup, but the best 5 players in one lineup. What do you think that will be for this Atlanta Dream squad?
Ooh, changing it up. Like, what's
Go
going to be
ahead,
the
Josh.
best lineup?
Yeah,
You want me to
yeah.
go first? Fine, fine. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Daniel Robinson, but Haley Jones will close in. Ari could potentially have another like that one's going to be interesting on who earns the most minutes as the season goes along. But I'm still gonna go with Robinson because I've liked the film I've seen. Then Alicia and Ryan, that's a gimme. Cheyenne at the 5. Um, that 4 is just going to be a competition all season long. I'm going to go Nia Coffey. I loved the film I saw with the Sparks before coming with us, and then, at the beginning of the season, I felt like she fit really well. So I'm going to go those 5 are going to be the best lineup. But me here could sneak and be really good too, but I'm going with those 5. That's going to be the best lineup for us.
And I'm gonna go in a little bit of a different.
Oh, I know.
Because the only person that I would take out of that lineup is Nia Coffey.
So that same 4, and then you're going somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm going somewhere else for the 4, and I feel like the 4 is very wide open, of course.
It is.
But I feel like maybe me here could sneak in there.
Because
I can see that over the season. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Because I feel like she just moves so well. So, and then plus having that second, third, like, playmaker on the floor could really, like, get it rolling.
Yeah.
Well, and Amber, you mentioned that playmaker. That's where I was hoping maybe like a Haley Jones to fit in there. I am curious what both of you think about Naz Hillman, because I was a fan, and especially after her improvement last year. But filling that 4 spot, either one of those 2 young players, or even putting
exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be intense all season. Like, it came down to Nia and Naz personally for me. The biggest thing for Naz is increasing her range. Like Amber mentioned, like versatility, it seems like to be the MO for the Dream. Like, people that can knock down long range shot, also get dirty for rebounds. Like, I don't know, it's just going to be so important for Naz to not just let defenders keep her open. It just stifles like the rest of our like rotation who's like in the game and stuff. So it's going to be important to have that range. Like, it doesn't have to fall all the time, but like just enough for teams to respect it to keep the flow going. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me on if she's going to get minutes.
Amber, any thoughts on Naz?
I love Naz. Naz is like one of my favorite young players on the team. So I am super excited to see the leap that she's going to take in the W now. She was great in AU, and I feel like that's the indicator that it's going to be a crazy season coming up. So I'm very high on her. I feel like she could sneak into that 4th spot. I feel like she could.
Really good.
So it could be whatever it needs to be. However she sneaks in there is how she sneaks in there. I feel like she could take it off. Who knows?
I'm excited.
Yeah, we'd be happy. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. A good young player like Naz, that would be great. This team, as we start to get into some fun predictions, before we do that, I'm curious, what do you think the expectations for this team are? What tier do you think they fit into as kind of a whole new era in the WNBA right now?
Well, I feel like they top tier. I feel like they could make it at least in the top 4. I see them as a home playoff team, but I can see them sneaking up a little further. I had them at number 3 in my preseason predictions, so I just feel like that could be. I feel like that's where they should be aiming for, personally.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely think they're in like the top 6, like we talked about, like Liberty, Aces, Sparks, Sun, like just being within that quadrant of like teams that are really close to each other. I think Liberty and Aces are higher for now, but those first 10 games are going to tell me a lot, where we have a mix. Like we start off decently easy potentially. We obviously don't know how teams are going to be, but like our schedule is tough in those 10 games. We get to play the Aces, we get to play the Liberty, the Sun. So yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in that tier 2, Amber, where we're considered a title contender. So
I love to hear that. I know Atlanta Dream fans are gonna love to hear that. Maybe they can touch New York or Las Vegas on their heels early on in the season, still trying to figure themselves out. So maybe that tough schedule could work out for them. But I'm excited about that. I like that. As we get into I guess kind of the fun part of this podcast, some predictions for this team. What do you like from a win-loss prediction heading into the season?
I feel like if they gonna sneak into that top 3, I mean, I feel like over like maybe 25 wins, maybe a little bit more. I feel like maybe 25 to 28 in there somewhere.
okay.
I like that.
Maybe, no less than 15 losses, because I feel like in there somewhere would be like what it would take to be a top 3 seed. So yeah,
that makes sense. I have them at 4, so like I looked at like the past few seasons, like what it took to get home court advantage, and it's right around winning 60% of your games. So I'm gonna go 24 and 16. I think we can win every month. If we do that, we have a good shot of getting home court advantage. So I go with that.
I like that 24 to 28. It seems like a good number. It is a big improvement. 14 and 22 last year, in what was a really impressive year from my vantage point. So I like to see that. Now, and we'll go into some awards, but these are specific to the Atlanta Dream. Who's the most valuable player on the Dream this season?
Ryan, the big dog.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Ryan is that's who it is. Like, she's gonna be top dog, so I'm going with Ryan.
Me too. Like just a fun little stat tidbit, but she joined Tamika Catchings and Ruthie Bolton as the only rookies to average at least 15 points, 2 3-point makes, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 stocks per game. Like just incredible, especially with like the limited help she had at different times. Like I don't think she's going to only be the MVP of the Dream. I think she's going to be competing for the WNBA MVP this year. Like she'll at least be in the conversation.
I am
and
all
Amber, I know you
that.
brought that up too.
All for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Alicia Gray as well is gonna really to be an all-star this season. So that's
absolutely.
where maybe between those two, but I like each of your confidence in Ryan, because she has all of the potential in the world and has already been spectacular on this stage. As we get into this next one, most improved player on the Dream. So taking it from last year, even if they're coming in as a rookie this season, but who do you think is going to show the most improvement for the Dream?
Nas. I feel like Nas is going to be the one, because she already has dramatically improved, and just knowing that she's going to go into the season with a head full of steam, I just feel like she's the one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll go someone different because I was going to pick Nas. So I'm going to go with the same position, though. Again, like the 4 is going to be the most intense battle all season. But I'm going to go Nia Coffey. I brought her up earlier. I just really liked her game in LA. Like, I feel like we didn't get a full chance this year. Like, we only got like half the season because of injuries. But I think she's a really good fit. Love her 3-point shooting. Like, man, I could just see it working out this season.
I am curious to see how her fit with Parker goes. So I like both of those picks. 6th player of the year. Who is it for the Dream? Is it too obvious?
Man, I feel like Ari, personally, because Ari is gonna be that. she's gonna be a spark off the bench. She's probably gonna be the first player off the bench, and I just feel like she's gonna give what needs to be given. So I'm very excited about seeing her improvement this year.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna pick too. So I'm gonna go a different direction. I hope it's okay to cheat. Whoever's not starting at the 4.
Oh,
okay. I like that. I like that.
Like, so whoever's coming off first, whoever wins that battle to be backup and everything, like, man, again, it's just gonna be a competition all season long. So I could see Monique Billings getting up there too. We haven't brought her up a lot, but she's a rebounding machine, like just goes full out every single game. So like we might be undersized at times, but no one can question like the ability of our team and like how hard they fight each game. So yeah. Yep.
So Joshua, I appreciate you going into or pitching someone else. The 6th person of the year, I definitely would have understood if you also chose Ari, but I do appreciate it. Defensive player of the year for the Atlanta Dream.
Dang. You take that one, Josh. I got to think on this one.
So again, this does not apply only to the Dream. I feel like they are going to be competing for defensive player of the year, and I'm going Alicia Gray. I really like how they looked in Dallas at times, and I felt like they weren't utilized to the full potential there. And like, just again, I can't overemphasize enough like how crucial Ryan and Alicia are going to be. Like, that's just the matchup problem there at the wing/guard position of like having to get past those two. And I think Alicia flourishes. Ryan flourishes more on the offensive end, having that player there, and Alicia's more able to do the things she's well at and like sneak in, like gets some more steals and everything than she did in Dallas. So I don't know. I'm really bullish on Alicia having a really big season.
I like that.
Ambee, you too?
I'm gonna go in the post. I'm gonna say Monique Billings.
Okay.
She's a great, and if she gets the playing time, I don't see her not being one of the top defenders. I'm just saying, because she is like all energy. She's long, she's athletic, she gets after it. So I feel like she could definitely be a candidate to me.
Yeah.
So
the
for
big key is minutes, like you said. Sorry.
Yeah, and she gets minutes, yeah.
And the minutes. Okay. And for this last kind of award, I opened it up to newcomers as well, because not every team is going to be able to keep 3 rookies. But for the Atlanta Dream, the rookie or newcomer of the year is.
I'll let Amber go first before she says me.
Well, let's see. Because I feel like it could go one or two ways, but I'm going to roll with. I'm going to take LA. I'm going to take Ambee here. I'm going to say Ambee here is going to do it. Because I'm really high on her. I'm very excited that we were able to get her. And I just feel like with the time that she's going to be given, she's going to be like, she's going to take full advantage. And I'm excited about it. So I'm going to go with Ambee here.
Definitely could see it. I get to keep with my original pick this time. Great. So Haley Jones. Again, I just think she's going to be really motivated. I'll make a little bit of a bold prediction. By the end of this season, we won't feel like we'll have to get a big free agent acquisition at point guard. We'll be comfortable with Haley and Ari competing for the starting spot next year.
I love that.
I think she's going to show enough to make the coaching staff confident and everything. So
that's fantastic. I love that call too, because again, huge Haley Jones fan. Love that fit in Atlanta. From my perspective, I'll take it. I like the awards, and now here for maybe some even more fun ones. But the unsung hero, I'm curious. We've mentioned a couple of names, just at the tail end, maybe. But who's your unsung hero for the stream team?
Amber, you're the unsung hero, so you can go ahead and go first.
Well, if I had to pick somebody who fits that, I'm going to say Nia Coffey. Because Nia is like, she's a defender. She can shoot the ball. She can shoot the leather off the ball. Like, when she's hot, she's hot. So I feel like there's gonna be times this season where she is going to be the player that takes us over the edge, possibly. So I'll give it to Nia.
Okay. I love how we're like intermingling with our picks and players we're talking about and everything. I'm gonna go Danielle Robinson. Again, like I just love how good of a distributor she is, and she's used to like sharing time, so there's not going to be like chemistry issues with her working with Ari. And I think Ari's gonna be able to grow from that, like developing her playmaking. Like I just think she's gonna be a great role model, and it's just gonna really fit well with the team on the court. I just again love her distributing ability, and think it's gonna work really well for this team.
I like that too. I like that too. The class clown on this team. Who do you think is just the most funny person on this team?
Low key is Ryan.
Yeah.
Low key is Ryan Howard. Everybody thinks that Ryan is quiet and she just like soft spoken. She is soft spoken, but the stuff that flies out of her mouth randomly, like if you really listen, she is hilarious. She's very sarcastic and she talks a lot of junk. So I feel like she's a class clown.
I'm also gonna go with someone quiet, and I'm going Naz Hillman. And I just, for people that didn't watch Athletes Unlimited, there was a draft where Melissa was going to pick next, and Naz Hillman picked, her girlfriend. She picked Dejanay Carrington because Melissa had taken Cece. She's like, okay, fine, I'm taking Dejanay from you. And it was so funny, and I'm like, man, Nas, like, she's full of trash, and I love it. So same with Ryan, like you think they're quiet, but man,
they're not. I love them.
And those are two players on their college teams, two of the best players on their teams, and then Ryan now. Like it's really interesting when maybe the best player, the leader, can be the class clown. I like that.
Exactly.
And lastly, here for our superlatives, the best trash talker on the team.
Ooh,
I'm going Ryan Howard because I feel like the best trash talkers don't have to say a word. Like she has so many different like hand motions that she can do. You don't even have to hear what she's saying. You look over. Like Amber and I have been talking about this a lot. We'll share it here too. We don't want to be the lovable team of the WNBA this year. Like we want to step on feelings. And I feel like the arrow thing she does, it's not going to be as endearing to them when she's knocking down a game-winning shot and knocking someone out of the playoffs. Like I feel like it's going to be fun, and she's got moves that we don't even know about yet, as far as like trash talking with different motions. I can't wait for this season where I think we're going to have a more successful year. Man,
man, I would have said Ryan, but also somebody I feel like is going to talk a lot of junk and give a lot of crazy faces, Cheyenne Parker.
Yes, that was second for me.
Mean mug. She is going to mean mug. She is going to, like, you want to talk about somebody stepping on feelings? She's been stepping on feelings.
She really has been.
She's built for this. So I'm going to go with Cheyenne Parker as being the best trash talker, besides Ryan. But yeah, absolutely.
That's a good pick. That definitely was second for me. And she's such a sweetheart outside of basketball. Like on the court, though, like, man, I would not want to play against her.
Heck no. Absolutely not.
No. Any other final takes that you guys would like to share about the Atlanta Dream heading into the 2023 season?
You want to go, Josh, or you want me to go?
You go first.
All I got to say is that if you think Atlanta is not going to make the playoffs, think again. That is the main thing for me, because like I understand people wanted them to do a completely different thing. Over here, we trust in Padover. Okay, Padover has proven that he can make a championship roster, and I do not question him. I don't question him. So what I'm gonna say, my final take, is that believe in the dream. And it could be championship 2023. You never know. I'm that confident. So
I love it,
ahead,
Amber. Josh, yeah.
Ooh, man, that was a good one because that's how I'm feeling too. I was gonna go like you better watch out, but man. So I'm gonna go stat wise for this prediction, but like since like I want to say since like 2016 we haven't finished in the top 5 in assists per game. So I'm gonna go that we have a lot of distributors this season. There's so many people to pass to. Like, man, I don't know how you would come up to a game plan to stop like just Alicia, Ryan, and Cheyenne alone. So I'm gonna go. We finish in the top 5 in assists per game and points per game. 2 things we have not done in a bit.
And hopefully that brings you guys to top 5 in the league heading towards the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what we have. So
you too.
Yep, we love that.
Thank you so much for joining me. If you would share where people can follow you and can find the Atlanta Dreamin Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go ahead.
You go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh. You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all can follow me at Ambee Writes, AMBEEWRITES on everything.
It's true. And then I'm ENFP_hoops on Twitter. I'm trying to establish myself other places. So Twitter's our big thing. We are also big on playback and watching games live. That is tied to my Twitter profile. Join us. We talk a lot of trash along with hoops. It's a great time. So join us if you haven't already. And we're going to be on all W season long. And it'll be a good time.
Ambee Writes,
yeah,
Josh.
Also,
go right ahead.
Oh, one more thing. We got to plug the pod, too.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't plug the pod.
Account. You got to plug the pod, Josh. Atlanta Dreamin with no G. So follow us over there as well. You can find our podcast. You can find our
like we've been going ever since our first episode was us getting Daniel Robinson in that trade. So I think that was our first episode. We've been going a bit. We're not going to stop. So if you want nonstop hoops content, definitely go there. Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it. The Atlanta Dreamin Podcast. Make sure to tune into that. Joshua Welch, Ambee Writes, Amber. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This will be the first podcast released here on a pro basketball show, and it was a pleasure to preview the Atlanta Dream before the 2023 season gets underway.
Thanks for having us on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We had fun. We had a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for tuning into a pro basketball show. You can catch a pro basketball show on streaming services such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with live broadcasts on playback. Make sure to follow us at APBShow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, with more coming soon. Until next time, I am Andrew Willett. Thank you for tuning in.